Hello everyone, Ember Power here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, we'll be concluding our review of the Scarlet and Violet DX sets. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it. So, Pinaco, 10 damage with God Press. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks during your opponent's next turn. Yeah, pretty bad. Heracross, Strength Throw says 10 damage and then 30 more for each energy in your opponent's active retreat cost. Might be an okay addition in a later EX we're going to look at that it can increase the retreat cost of your opponent's active, but either way, yeah, I don't think this attack is very good. 30 damage modifier is pretty meh. You will need a lot of retreat cost in order for this to be any good, so yeah, I don't think Heracross is particularly great. Scatterbug has the ability to adapt to evolution, which is very helpful because it just means the whole line can kind of like skip around Rare Candy and just kind of evolve on the first turn, which is pretty cool. But Vivillon, unfortunately, isn't very good. Or Vivillon. Miracle Powder, 1 grass, 50 damage, flip a coin of heads. Your opponent's active is now affected by a special condition, so you probably always choose Polaris, I guess. But yeah, pretty bad attack overall. Also, 120 HP is absolutely abysmal. No stage 2 in this day and age should have that amount of HP. It's just awful. It should be 150 for the lowest, and then like 200 plus for the highest. So yeah, Vivillon, really not doing it for me. And yeah, pretty bad start for the grass types. We'll have to see if they improve. There is a Tarantula, so play on the word tarantula, I guess. String Shot for the going heads Polarises, very nice artwork. And there's another Tarantula. There is a Spidops EX, which is pretty decent actually, 260 HP, so it's like okay for a stage 1 EX. Has the ability Trap Territory. It says your opponent's active Pokemon street cost is 1 cost more, which is pretty cool. And then it has the attack Wire Hang for 1 grass colors, 90 damage, and then 30 more for each energy in your opponent's active retreat cost. So I think the whole idea here is that you get a bunch of these in play, and you just like rapidly increase your opponent's retreat cost. Like if they have a retreat cost of 2 and then you increase it to 3, then you are doing what, like 180? Wait, am I reading that correctly? 90, 120, 151. Yeah, you're doing 180 for 3 retreats, so that's not terrible. Is there anything you could really pair this with? I mean, there's like the Leafeon V, I guess, to accelerate energy, and then Leafeon V Max to do a similar style attack that was a 60 modifier. So yeah, I think this definitely has some potential in that regard. Grass types really haven't done it for me, so not sure if this will be the defining piece, but yeah, I think this could be pretty good actually. Wire Hang and Trap Territory seems like a very potent combo. Could be good. So we see a Toadstool, very goofy looking Squidward-esque looking card. Free attack, flip 3 coins, 10 damage for each heads. Yeah, pretty bad, but very cool artwork. Wow, the amount of swagger this guy has. Yeah, I love Toadstool, very cool Pokemon, but unfortunately Toadskruel is pretty bad. Again, love the artwork, but Ominous Tentacle, 30 damage. You may choose an energy attached to your opponent's active, move to one they're benched. Yeah, pretty bad disruption, so shouldn't see so much play. We also see a Capsakid. Forgot this Pokemon existed, not gonna lie. Pretty bad. Squivillon, 90 damage. If this Pokemon has any fire energy attached to it, it's 90 more. I mean, yeah, you could use Charm to accelerate 2 grass energy, and then maybe put a fire energy on there as well to do 180, but that seems like an awful lot of work just to get a stage 1 rolling, to be honest. Growlithe has the attack Stoke. It says search your deck for 2 basic fire energy, attach them to this Pokemon. Not the worst attack in the world to have going second, because it just means we can use Arcanine EX as Bright Flame going on your second turn, second turn of the game, what am I saying? Yeah, on your second turn you could use Bright Flame for 250 to score energy, but with like a Defiant Band if something got knocked out, or if you use a Choice Spell you can do 280, and then Raging Claws does 30 damage, and then 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So we did look at a card called Armitage in the first set review that allows you to move Faringy from your benched Pokemon to your active. So if you really wanted to like accelerate energy, then maybe that's a decent option. Like you accelerate energy in I don't know, in like a different way to the bench using Magma Basin and stuff, and then move it over to make use of Bright Flame. So yeah, there is like decent potential in that regard. So maybe there's potential here. Not sure. But 280 HP, pretty bulky, does have 2 very good attacks, so yeah, I think Arcanine could actually be really good. Also, love the artwork. Still salty that terrestrial Pokemon have this like weird effect where they don't take any damage on the bench, and it's nothing to do with type change, but hopefully they will change that somewhere down the line and we'll see better terrestrial Pokemon. But yeah, then we see a Houndoom line. Fire Blast 150 to Scarfaringy, pretty bad. Slowpoke, this Pokemon is now Sleep Heal 30. Fortunately, maybe a wee bit too strong for Mini League, but yeah, it's a very cute Slowpoke nonetheless. We also see a Slowbro that has amazing artwork, has the ability Stranger Behavior. As often as like during your turn, you may move a damage counter from one of your Pokemon to this Pokemon. So it's kind of like a self-healing move where you can move like up to 9 damage counters a turn from one of your Pokemon that's been damaged to Slowbro. I think this will definitely see a decent amount of play, even though that would put you in range of like a Howlucha ping or something. I think this could see a lot of play actually, because it's just passive healing, and being able to move around damage counters has always been pretty good in the past. And, you know, I guess we lose Scoop Up Nets, there's no way to properly loop this, but just being able to move off like 9 damage counters once per game could potentially save your Pokemon. So yeah, healing 90, pretty strong, pretty good effect, and you can also Zoroark switch into it as well. So if you're playing this like Zoroark toolbox deck with the X Pokemon maybe, then being able to switch into one of these Slowbros to make use of Strange Behavior could be pretty good. So yeah, big fan of that Slowbro. Also worth noting is that if you didn't see, we do have a alternate art for the Slowpoke as well, so pretty cool as well. There is a Klotza line, but unfortunately it's pretty bad. We see a Setudol. Don't know how to pronounce that name, sorry. Setudol, yeah. High HP, high damage output, kind of evolving basic. And a Setitan has the attack Sweeping Tackle, 200, and does 20 less for each damage counter on it, which is a real shame because 200 damage, 108 HP is really solid stats, but yeah, pretty bad attack. We then see the Magnemite, Magneton, Magnezone EX line. Reviewed this card about 1 million times, it feels like, but yeah, this card's been ups and downs in testing. It's been okay, I would say, overall. You attack Energy Crush, 50 damage for each energy attached to all your opponent's Pokemon. Pretty solid move. It's good 2-hit KO potential, which means if you ever need to 2-hit KO someone with Energy Crush, you can always just play a Cheryl, which has been really good against like other decks such as Gardevoir. So I do like the idea of this card in some regards. Pulse Launcher I wasn't using unless I had Generator going, so yeah, I think this card is okay. It's like the definition of a playable EX, but it's nothing like terribly crazy or anything. But if you can make room in your deck, I would definitely recommend like Cheryl. Also play this with like Generator and stuff because Pulse Launcher is pretty decent if you need to use it in a pinch. But yeah, I think this card's okay. It's definitely not like terrible or anything, but yeah, shouldn't be too amazing. There's a Pachirisu that says it can't be paralyzed. I don't care. Group Sap, 1 lightning, 1 colorless, 10 damage, and 20 more for each of your benched lightning Pokemon. This damage isn't affected by weakness. Probably like the perfect Pokemon for GLC, I guess, but yeah, shouldn't be anything more than that realistically, because it's just such a bad attack in standard, not doing nearly enough damage, so yeah, pretty bad Pokemon overall. We see a Rotom with Junk Hunt, but it's just not retrieve 2 items, so it's nowhere near as good as Sableye. Probably won't end up seeing much play. We see a Toxtricity line, which has the attack Tear Off. Choose 2 cards in your opponent's hand without looking. Look at those cards, your opponent shovels them back into their deck. Yeah, it's meh. I guess in some kind of like Zoroark control deck, then, you know, you could like Roxanne your opponent down to 2 cards and then tear away those 2 cards, but yeah, seems pretty bad. We also see the evolution line for Palmy, which goes Palmy, also Palmy. Oh wait, that's just the same card, never mind. So we see Palmy, then Palmo, and then Palmot. So Palmot looks very similar to Palmy, but does have the ability Charge Up. It says once in your turn you may search your deck for a lightning energy and attach it to this Pokemon. Pretty cool ability, right? But then Electropole does 230, but you have to discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. Not 2 energy, all energy. Really bad attack. I really wish this had just said discard 2 energy, because it means you can't use 1 Charge Up in a manual. You have to use Charge Up and then a manual, then find energy from somewhere else, be it a Flaffy or a Generator. So such a bad card. I'm very disappointed. Like, why would they do this? Poor Palmot. It's a very good card in EAB, I will say that much. I know I'm trying not to talk about EAB, but yeah, I think this could be very good in EAB, but like in standard, yikes. 130 HP as well, like that's terrible. So yeah, I don't think this card is very good. Miraidon EX has the ability Tandem Unit. Says once in your turn you may search your deck for 2 basic lightning Pokemon, put them onto your bench. absolutely busted card. This with Magnezone EX, Flaffy Deck, Raichu, all the rest of them, this is really strong. Even as a really early tempo attacker with Generator, because then you can use Photon Blaster for 220. Very solid card. I think this will see a ton of play. Definitely don't underestimate Miraidon. I think this could be one of the better cards from the set for sure. Then we have Drowsy, which is Force Asleep. You know, you bring a Pokemon up, you put them to sleep. Very fun card for a smaller format, but nothing too good in standard. Hypno, flip a coin of heads, choose one of your opponent's active attacks and use this attack. That's kind of cool, actually. I do like attacks like these. You know, it could be very fun in certain situations. Definitely a Zoroark deck, it could be pretty cool. We also see a Shuppet that has Wrapped in the Shadows. Flip 10 damage, flip a coin of heads. Your opponent can't play any item cards from the hands during the next turn. Very cool. Definitely a good placement for Cragganol in Mini League. So shout out to people who know what Mini League is. But yeah, I think Shuppet could be really good there. And it's also just really nice to lead into Banette EX as well. So Eternal Darkness for 1 Psychic Energy, 30 damage. Your opponent can't play any items. Item Lock returns in form, I guess. Big problem is it's a stage 1 and you're only doing 30 damage. But if anything's to be going off, I still think Item Lock is scary. It is, you know, can be scary if your opponent just has nothing, and then all of a sudden Eternal Darkness just locks him out of the game for a couple of turns. Maybe that's enough for you to build up enough energy on different Banettes to use Poltergeist, and then Poltergeist is of course doing 60 for each turn card in our opponent's hand, which is certainly one of the strongest modifiers we've seen for Poltergeist. I think the highest has been Chandelure VMAX, it did 70 times, so yeah, having Eternal Darkness and Poltergeist in one package. Plus, even if you end up going second, then you can still make use of Shuppet's attack Wrapped in the Shadows. So, yeah, I think this could be a very good card overall and a very fun deck, regardless. We also see another Flebaby line. I feel like I see enough Flebaby lines, but Flabebe, Floetta, terrible. Forgus, all your Pokemon have no weakness. Terrible, probably get banned in EAB, but yeah, terrible card. Broken in certain formats, but yeah, terrible in standard. Klefki is an absolute menace. Like, this card is just so annoying. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, each player's basic Pokemon in play have no abilities. That's your basic Pokemon as well, by the way. It's not just your opponent's. That's why it's called Prank Lock. Let me list off some stuff that this can block. Koraidon EX, Miraidon EX, Luminion V, Crobat V if you're playing Expanded, Radiant Greninja, Radiant Charizard, Radiant Jirachi, Radiant Sneasel, or literally any Radiant Pokemon actually that just has an ability. So like Radiant Hawlucha, the regular Hawlucha as well that was just revealed. Do I need to keep going? Mew from Celebrations, that gets shut down. Oh yeah, and Comfy as well. This just shuts down everything. This is like really annoying. I think this won't be ever more than a 2 of though in most decks unless a basic engine becomes super popular. But I don't think it ever can be because Klefki is just such an annoying ability lock. Most personally, I'd much rather see, you know, like Gorbotoxin come back as opposed to this. But yeah, Klefki, definitely a rather devious fellow. Could definitely see this being a 2 of in certain decks, especially in a stage 2 deck that just wants to buy yourself some time against other decks. So yeah, I definitely think Prank Lock is really annoying. Knock off doing 10 damage for doing damage to Scarlet Pokemon tool card. Yeah, seems like decent damage as well. So again, another one for Mini League could be pretty cool. We also see a Graveyard that has the attack Graveyard Frolic. I love that attack name. 10 damage for each Psychic Pokemon in your disco pile. Not the worst, honestly. Doesn't need a couple of modifiers. We do have Defiant Ban, thankfully, because you're a single price squishy Pokemon. But yeah, could be a decent, fun deck to build around. Graveyard has some more hand control, but it's not too good. Houndsdoom has the attack Grey Visit. That does 80 damage, and then 10 more for each Psychic Pokemon in your disco pile. I do like this attack. It's decent. Unfortunately, you do have to factor in that you will need 10 Pokemon in your disco pile just to do 180. When Dondozo for 2 colors on a basic can do 200 for just putting 4 Tatsugiri in the bin. So yeah, I think Dondozo just trumps Houndsdoom quite a bit. But, you know, Grave Visit doing 80 plus 10. Maybe we'll see some kind of unknown letter reprint or something in the future. And maybe this could be good one day, which is a shame because I like Houndsdoom as a Pokemon a lot. But yeah, seems like a pretty decent card. Like a fun one to try out at the very least. We have a Mankey, a little bit of a monkey time with Monkey Strike doing 30 damage and 10 to itself, pretty bad. Primeape 70 and then 20 to itself, so noticing a bit of a theme here, guys. We also see Annihilate that has the attack Enraged Fist. This card is really scary for EAB. It's like a very scary card. 70 damage for each prize card already taken by your opponent. It's like, Jesus. And this could be very good in GLC as well. So that's something more people know about, I guess. But yeah, I think this could be a very good card in GLC because in the early game, you could just use Dynamic Punch. And then in the late game, you have Enraged Fist. So it's good in either the early game or late game. So yeah, I really like Annihilate for both GLC, EAB, alternate formats, that kind of thing. So yeah, pretty solid stage 2 overall. Once again, hit points is abysmal. I don't know who's in charge of distributing HP, but flipping heck, 140 is just absolutely nothing these day and age. We do see a Spiritomb that has the attack Destruction Verdict. Flip 2 coins. If both are heads, opponent's act is knocked out. Because it's the 2 dark energy, it's just worse Radiant Jirachi, sadly. And Radiant Jirachi can also tutor out cards when it gets knocked out, so it can recycle itself. Spiritomb needs Turbo Patches and stuff, and Dark Patch, so yeah, pretty bad card overall. We also see a Mash Stiff, and another Mash Stiff, and then a Maboss Stiff, with the ability in, oh my god, and to move that to the side there, we see the Boss Stiff with the ability Enraged Howling. Once on your turn, you may switch your opponent's active or one of their bench Pokemon, but your opponent chooses which one, so it's like, oof. A force switch is like okay, I guess. In a dark deck where you want to play Piers, I guess is like okay in GLC or EAB or something, but yeah, it's okay. I do like my Boss Stiff as a Pokemon. That's a bit scary, but yeah, do like him. He's a fun one. We also see another bird in this game because apparently there's a million birds in the Paldea region. Bombardia, 110 HP. Junk Transport. Search your deck for 3 Pokemon tools, reveal them, put them into your hand. It doesn't look like we're going to have much your opponent shuffles draws in the next format, apart from Judge. Like, Judge literally looks to be one of the only the supporters that forces your opponent to shuffle, so having an attack that can find Pokemon tools is pretty unique and pretty cool, so yeah, it seems okay. Clutch, 60 damage, opponent can't retreat. It is what it is. It's like, okay. We see a Fortress, continuous spin for the Pokemon to get tails, 50 damage times the number of heads. Pretty bad. We lose Glimmertangle, so moving on. Iron Treads EX, 220 HP, triple laser, 3 colors, attack does 30 damage to your opponent's Pokemon. Regigigas EX, I believe, had this exact same attack. Or Reggie, was it Regigigas? Yeah, it was either Regigigas or like one of the other one, like Reggie Metal or something. But yeah, triple laser, very bad attack, and then Cybernetic Wheel, 160 for 4 energy, switches Pokemon one of your benched. Yeah, pretty bad attacker. It is a hit and run mon, so if we ever get a way to accelerate energy, maybe there's some synergy there with something like Miltank, but yeah, not really doing it for me. I think Great Tusk is actually just a better card overall. Triple laser, 30 damage to 3. Yeah, I don't see this card seeing massive amounts of play. We also see a Chansey, which is doing egg roll for Pokemon to get tails, 60 damage for each heads. Pretty funny attack, but pretty bad. Blissey, Nurse on Duty, says once you return, you may heal all special conditions from your active Pokemon. This would have been like so broken in the early eras of Pokemon when special conditions actually mattered and were an important part of the game, but yeah, right now special conditions are really just bad. They're pretty bad. There's loads of ways to switch out, so yeah, maybe one day special conditions will be relevant again, but yeah, Blissey, pretty bad. We also see a very interesting Skova, and when I mean interesting, I mean very interesting. Has the ability Hidey Hole. It says, once in your turn, you may shuffle your hand and return it to the bottom of your deck, and then draw a card. So Skova says, what if you had a hand of like 6 or 7 cards, you put them on the bottom of your deck, and you draw a card? Just pretty bad. It's just pretty bad. Like, the funny thing is, though, like, there is some... Okay, in all seriousness, there is some applications, right? One of the ones that I've seen some people talk about is that you get something like Altaria or Tempting Tune. You search your deck for Supporter, you put it on top, then you use Scovit to put your hand on the bottom of your deck, and then you just draw that Supporter for turn. Which is like a bit of a faff, you know, you have to have 2 combos, you have to say goodbye to your hand as well. But you can use it to find something like a Single Strike or Rapid Strike Mustard, or Brandon, for example. Like, Brandon says if you have no cards in your hand, you get to like draw a card for each of your opponent's Pokemon in play or something. So there is definite applications for Skova. So it's just such a strange one, but I guess being able to Signal Strike or Rapid Strike a Pokemon on into play and then draw 5 is okay. It's also like okay with something like Barrel, where you can just draw up to 5 after you've done it. So maybe there's some good applications with Skwovet. You do get turned off by Klefki. Should probably mention that, but yeah, very interesting, unique card, but yeah, very strange. We also see Greedent, Enhanced Fang, 80 damage. If it has a tool, it does 80 more. Pretty bad. Indeedee, raise well, search your deck for card evolves from your Pokemon play, put onto Pokemon to evolve it. So, as far as I'm aware, this wording means you can't skip stage 2, so you have to go basic stage 1, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, pretty cool attack, I guess. Tandemus, 30 HP is abysmal. Another Tandemus, or Tandemouse, 50 coins, 3 damage for Chads. I love the artwork, just frolicking with mushrooms in the woods, pretty cool. We also see a Mousehold, or Mousehold. Family attack, 70 for each of your Mousehold in play. So if you get a Zoroark to turn into a Mousehold, and then you get 3 more Mouseholds in play, you can do 280, which is pretty wild actually. Like, that's really solid damage, but most of the time if you don't have Zoroark, you're just going to be able to do 210 with a full set of these in play or something, because as soon as one gets knocked out, you have to like rebench the original mouse. But yeah, damage output is there, to be honest, and 2 colors energy is pretty easy to pay for, so I could definitely see some kind of cute rogue deck with this guy. We also see a Squawkabilly that says Call for Family, so I guess it's like a Call for Family Tandemouse deck here, where we can search our deck for 2 of them, put them on a bench, but yeah, pretty bad card overall. Flip a coin and heads, frontal damage. 60 damage is actually decent with an attack like Fly, but yeah, Squawkabilly not really doing it. Silazer, tooling, draw 2 cards. Free Retreat, you know what, it's okay. It's kind of like a neat replacement for the Taboo Coco that's getting rotated out. It has pretty identical stats actually, from Darkness Ablaze, I think it is, so yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. But moving on to the trainers, we do see the electricity generator. I know this card's kind of fallen by the wayside to make room for Gardevoir hype, but I still think this card is absolutely busted. Look at the top 5, choose 2 basic lightning. If you're playing 13 to 14 energy, or even maybe 12, 13 energy, I would say, in testing, this card is still consistently hitting at least 2 energy all the time. And even if you hit 1 energy, that is just as good as hitting 1 Flaffy. If you hit 2 energy, that's better than a Flaffy. And if you hit any more than 2, then that's kind of unlikely, but it's still amazing. So I think this card is absolutely phenomenal. It's very scary with stuff like Raichu, and it's definitely one that I would be keeping an eye on post-rotation. So keep an eye on Generator. It's very strong. Ultra Ball is kind of here to stay. Picnic Basket says heal 30 damage from all Pokemon in play. So this is like nice, cutesy, get healed 30 from everything. I don't know why you play this, to be honest. It's passive healing, I guess. If you don't mind your opponent getting healed as well, then I guess it's okay. Rare Candy. I do like the Rare Candy artwork here. We see a Rocky Helmet, which is... yeah, Rocky Helmet's okay. Put your damage counters if they attack you, which is... it is what it is. It's okay. KT, using this card ends your turn. Right, that's terrible. Move on. But either way, shove your hand into your deck, draw 8 cards. Not strong enough for an effect like end your turn. That's just really bad. Professor's Research, definitely going to be the 4 of post-rotation. Arvin says search your deck for an item and a Pokemon tool card. We don't see many tool cards that are actually really good, apart from stuff like EXP Share, maybe? And like, yeah, EXP Share, Rocky Helmet. So maybe you would like play Arvin in your deck, and you just search your deck for an item that finds your Tatsugiri or something, you get your XP share. I know I'm like obsessed with the Dondozo Tatsugiri deck at this point, but yeah, Arvin seems pretty good. Miriam says choose up to 5 Pokemon from your discard pile, shuffle them in, draw 3 cards. Great passive draw 3, as well as being able to choose up to 5. It also says choose up to 5, which suggests you don't have to do this, you can just draw 3. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Miriam. And Mezagoza, once during each opponent's turn, that player may flip a coin of heads, search your deck for Pokemon. So it's literally just like Pokeball, but it is passive Pokemon search, and it can find a basic or an evolution. So pretty strong stadium, nice passive stadium. Does help your opponent, unfortunately, but in these smaller niche decks that won't have certain Pokemon at certain times in the game, think about the Gardevoir deck that's going to have like multiple different Gardevoirs, different Gallades maybe, different Curliers even. having Mesagoza could be really strong. So yeah, that's going to do it for the Scarlet and Violet EX review. Let me know what you think down below. Go over the promo cards end of the day, but truth be told, they're all pretty bad. There is a Quilava that allows you to accelerate an energy to one of your Pokemon, but it's a stage 2, so realistically, that's not really going to see any play. I guess we could go over some of the translations, but I don't think there's anything worth mentioning here. This allows you to move an energy. It's pretty bad. There's the Lucario EX, which we reviewed before, so that's like not too great. There's a very cute clay stone journal artwork that says Pokemon takes 20 less damage. Pretty bad. There's yet another Lechonk, which I'm very happy about. There's an Energy Switch, Energy Search reprint, Potion reprint, Pokegear reprint, Switch reprint, Pokecatcher reprint, a Judge reprint, which is scary. Don't want Judge to be the only shuffle draw. Youngster, shuffle draw 5, so that's kind of like, I guess if we don't see a better supporter than Judge, then I guess people can play Youngster as like their 4 post rotation, but seems a bit weak, to be honest. There's a Fuecoco line, which is really cute, but unfortunately the Skelderidge isn't very good. Hopefully we see Skelderidge EX in that in the next set. Ampharos EX is pretty decent. Needing to score 2 energy. Does evolve from the Dynamoto Flaffy though, so could be okay. There's a Rotom that's bad. Is that another Lechonk? Oh wait, no, it's not another Lechonk. Never mind. False alarm. Flamigo is pretty bad. Unfortunately, Flamigo's pretty bad. Energy Search, Nespal, Ultra Ball, Rakandy, all again. We've seen this all before. Anything new? I don't think there's anything new. Yeah, Quilava does heavy attack, Energy Carnival. May attach a basic energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. It's okay. It's definitely not like amazing, any stretch of imagination. If we see some kind of stage 2 Quilava EX, it's much better than that would be good, but yeah, definitely not a fan of that. There's a Dedenne and a Mimikyu that could be okay partners for God of War EX potentially, but yeah, not really seeing anything amazing right off the bat. Energy Retrieval reprint, Crushing Hammer reprint, Vitality Band reprint for some reason. Yeah, that's going to do it for the review. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you for watching. It's been Ember Power, and hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching.